Hello, welcome pen friends. I'm back to do a video where I talk about my favorite 12 fountain pen inks so far and at this moment, because as I was doing it I realized how close the race is in some instances. So, you know, if you ask me tomorrow, it might change, but you know, I'm pretty consistent. I found some old notes and an old paper that I did, which I'll show you during this video. And it has stayed pretty consistent in some of the areas. So I feel like I'm pretty loyal to some of these inks. And I just thought that I'd come on here and talk about each one of the 12. And I've got you know, ink tiles to show you of each one. And then I'll probably have to do a part 2 in order to do some writing samples and things like that. But I'm not even thinking that far ahead. In fact, as I'm taping this, you know, it's January 7th, 2021, and there's a lot going on. You know, I don't want to go into detail because some of it's personal, some of it's nationwide, some of it's, you know, family. There's all kinds of things going on. But as you guys know that who know me, this hobby is kind of a sanctuary for me, and I know for a lot of you. So I'm not going to feel guilty for finding my best way to feel positive, and that's what I'm doing here today. And so I came on and talked about the ink book that I won from Inky Rocks, and it's behind me there. Whoops, right there. And inside that little ink book, there's 12 little bottles that hold 10 mil. So my challenge to myself was to decide, you know, what are my top 12 favorite inks? And my plan is to put 10 mil of each one of those inks into these little bottles, which I haven't done that part yet, but I've done the selecting, which, believe me, was the longer part of the of the task, if you want to call it that, because actually it was a lot of fun. So I guess we'll just start, because I've got a lot to say about each one, and I'm not really confident that I can keep this short, but hopefully you've got coffee or some project to work on or something. Okay, so the first one, oh, before I start though, I did not make myself choose from each color category. I just asked myself to choose my top 12 out of all of the inks that I have, not only in bottle, but that I've encountered in sample form, so that I wasn't required to choose just from my bottles even. So interestingly, it came out that my favorites, I have a bottle of each, but it was close, because there was one where it could have gone either way, and in fact it's still really close in my mind on the red ink, and I didn't have a bottle of one of those. Anyway, we'll go over that when we get there. But so I really didn't put any restrictions on myself. I didn't say you can't have 5 purple. I said to myself, whatever it turns out to be, you know, honestly. So here it is. Okay, so the first one is KWZ Monarch. And it's an orange ink, and it is, it's made by KWZ, which is a company in Poland, but it's an exclusive to Fontoplumo in the Netherlands. And I actually did not have a bottle of this to begin with. I had a sample sent to me by my pen friend KS, and then I found out they were back in stock. I had put my name and email in, and when I found out that they were back in stock, I ordered it, even though I had to pay shipping from the Netherlands to get this. And it just, oh, what I really love about it is it's the color and the flow of the ink. And it's like a burnt orange, and there's something about this one that it rises above all the others. As much as I love several others in this category, it's my favorite. And you know, I didn't choose it because of the color or because of the fact that it's orange. It stood out. And these are not really in order. Like, this is the first one I thought of when I was doing this, but they're not necessarily in order. I want you to know that too. My thoughts are not organized either, but I'm doing the best I can. Okay, so then the second one is a purple ink, and it's Bungabox Lamont. And you know, I was introduced to this one by pen friend BH. She sent me a sample, and if I remember right, she sent me another sample because I loved it so much. And I now have a bottle, but at the time I did not. So now I have a bottle of this, and I kind of use it sparingly because it was one of the more expensive, if not the most. I think I'm not really sure. By the time you figure that shipping from the Netherlands, I wouldn't, yeah. But just if you just take the ink bottle price, that may have been my most expensive. But this Bungabox Lamont is a shader. It's just an incredible shading ink. And it's got that happy purple color. You know, it's just really, really bright. And so I put down those two things, shading and the fact that it's bright and super cheerful. It comes to mind all the time, and if I'm not careful, I'm going to burn right through that whole bottle. But I don't really ration it because I just love it, and you know, anything could happen. Coco could spill it, so I want to enjoy it all I can. Okay. So I'll probably think of other things to say and have to skip around a little, but hopefully not. I mean, I'm going to try to stay focused. I've got a tile for each ink. Okay, the next one is Graf von Faber-Castile Stone Gray. And I love this ink as soon as I tried it. Now, this sample was sent by pen friend CM. And I was firmly... My favorite at the time when this sample came in was Diamine Earl Grey. So it totally shook up my gray favorite when I started writing with this. Let's see, I'm going to show you the bottle. I love the bottle. I did get a bottle. I ended up getting a really good price on the bottle from Dromgoole, so I did order it. And I just, I love it. I've got it in 2 pens. It is my bullet journal pen, and I also have one in the slot for my Knox Seed where I do my daily journaling. It's got a little bit of water resistance, but that's not why I love it. I think it's just the flow and the color on this one too. Now that's going to come up a lot. I started to realize that you know, shading comes up a lot, but flow and my love of a color, you know, how it flows out of the nib and how it feels when I'm writing with it is a big deal for me. So I could say a lot more about that, I think, but I better move on because there are 12 of these. So, okay, the next one is a real interesting blue. It's Robert Oster Lake of Fire. And this ink, I'll tell you how I found out about it. It's probably been out a while when this happened, but I saw this video by K-Purpose 10, and she was talking about this fountain pen called the Serendipity. And those of you who followed me are laughing already because you know that I'm a real big fan of the Serendipity hybrid dip fountain pen. Well, it was her that did the video, and at the time that the Serendipity first came out, you got a bottle of this. I'll show you the bottle. I made a little bit of a dent in this bottle. You got a free, the first so many people who ordered the Serendipity got a free bottle of this Lake of Fire. And so I was really interested based off of the things she was saying about it. But it has incredible sheen and it has shading. And it's a really pleasing blue. Like, I don't get tired of it. I can put it in a pen and write and write and write. So I can do letters or I can do all kinds of notes. And I totally love it. And I anticipate if that runs out or it gets anywhere near close, I'll need more, I think, because I really, really love it. So next up, number 6 ink. Wow, are we going that fast? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, number 5 ink. I thought, how are we doing that? Okay, never mind me. Is Diamine Aqua Lagoon. And how I found out about this one, I found out about this one by watching a video by Brian Goulet where he talked about the best shading inks. And this was a long time ago, like back when I was a newbie. And, you know, I thought, well, he loves it. You know, I'm going to try it. So I got a sample and I just really, really loved it. It's got that bright kind of turquoisey blue and it shades and it's excellent for artwork. And here's the bottle, Diamine, and this is the... What is it, 80 mil or whatever it is? Oh, geez. I don't know why I can't remember things. Yeah, it says right on it. I got to look over the glasses, 80 mil. It's a favorite. It's definitely a favorite. So I'm noticing with my notes that I totally forgot a big thing that I was going to mention. So I'm going to say it now. I have not reviewed every single one of these 12 inks. I've reviewed 8 of them. But in most cases, what's interesting is where I didn't do a review, I automatically know the person's review that I saw that either, you know, I feel like is the review to watch, or I watched it and then purchased the ink, that kind of thing. So I've got plenty to link for you, even in the 4 cases where I didn't review the ink. But it's got me thinking that maybe I should review the ones I haven't done. So it's kind of a neat way to organize things. I think that's all I was going to say about this one. But I love this ink and I turn to it a lot. It's just one of my favorites. So you can see already I didn't limit myself to one blue or one, well, purple is coming. Don't worry. I didn't limit myself with purple either. So, number 6, for real, is a brown ink, and it's SBre Brown. Let's see, my notes say it's bottled by Ackerman, formulated by Diamine. It's a beautiful, warm brown that has more like orange, and it's gorgeous, and I love it, and it was kind of hard to come by. So, I love it for the color, the warmness, the tone, and the shading that it has, and I'm such a fangirl of SBre Brown, his videos and his personality and everything else, his videos on stoicism and all the other things that he offers, not only the fountain pen community, but all of us as people. So I finally was able to purchase it. Now this is going to look funny. Looks like I used it all up, but I did, you know, I had it pretty low, so I put it in a different bottle so that I could display this bottle without harming the ink. You know, the ink is safely put away in a bottle, in a box, and now I can enjoy this beautiful bottle, because I don't fill from bottles. And those of you that follow me know I fill from a little sample vial, because I like to make sure that I'm keeping my big ink bottles free of any mold. We do live in South Texas, and I think that's a real thing, and it's something for me to be very careful about in my mind, and so that's how I do it. So I just absolutely love the ink. I remember the day that I got to purchase it because I was sick, and it's probably the only reason why I checked my alert when an email came in right away, because normally I just don't sit on top of my phone. In fact, I'm bad about that. Sometimes I'll forget the whole day to turn my volume on, my sounds. So anyway, I actually it was the 2nd or 3rd time that it was released that I finally got to purchase it, and I was so excited. So anyway, that's my favorite, one of my 12 favorites. Okay, the next one is relatively recent compared to some of these, and it is the Straits Pen Honest Ink Bougainvillea Purple. It was in Ink Flight 30, and I just went crazy for this ink. It's interesting. I think it has a lot in common with Bungabox Lamont, but not so much. They're different enough. Let me hold them up together. This is the Bougainvillea Purple, and this is the Bungabox. They're different enough, and really you can't see the subtle differences with the tiles anyway. But I really love it. Enough that when that 30 inks, it was one of the 30 inks 30 days where I was doing a video each day, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and that's what it looked like when I went to look up whether I'd done a video. And I have done a review of this. Here's the bottle. It's a little 30 ml bottle, but I fell in love with it, and I allowed myself to get one bottle when I got done with that 30 inks 30 days, and this was it. It's got incredible shading. I love the flow, and I just was crazy about it. I just can't get enough of it, you know? Which it'll be interesting too, if I have time at the end, I want to say something about how sometimes those things shift, but it hasn't yet with that ink. So next is another ink that the Bungabox Lamont was given to me, the sample by pen friend BH, and this one also, this KWZ Thieves Red, the sample was given to me by my pen friend up in North Texas, and I just fell in love with it and ended up buying a bottle of it. So here it is right here. So that's interesting. That makes 2 KWZ inks. I do really love KWZ. Their inks, they hit the spot for me on the flow. They just about, well, every time I've ever tried one. And also I just love the color of this red. Not that I haven't seen some other reds I like too, but all things considered, now this was really close, because I got to be honest with you, it was close between this and Colorverse Redshift. But there's something about the fact that I like a true red, and I think red shift may be just a little deeper and not quite as, I don't even know how to describe it, but, and I don't have that tile right in front of me, but it was close, I'll say that much. But the color and flow on this, and the fact that it just makes me so happy when I write with it. I can't wait for February, because this will be one of my February inks, I'm sure. So that is that one. Now next up is a purple. And not the only purple. Next up is Watermen Tender Purple. Now this had been recommended by, I don't know how many of you all, viewers, people that were, you know, always communicating to me in the comments. And I don't know why I didn't get around to getting it. I'm not sure. It's odd. It's like, well, maybe I was ordering and it wasn't at that place, and then another time maybe I forgot, or, you know, something like that. But my pen friend KS sent me a sample, and that was it. I was just sold from then on. And it's just such a wonderful ink. Let's see. Here it is right here in this little bottle. Let's see. I think this is, oh, 50 mil. I was going to say 30, but no, it's a 50 mil. And I wrote down color and price, so I don't even remember how much that ink was. But I also, the feeling I have about this one is that it's super safe for my pens. And that's a good feeling too, because I do kind of tinker around with some Noodler's inks and some that, you know, that are a little scary. So it's kind of nice sometimes to just know and breathe easy that it's going to clean out and everything. But it's just a gorgeous purple. Just super, super nice. And I've got a lot of purple inks, so when they got chosen, the ones that got chosen, that's an honor, I think. Okay, so next is a teal ink. This is Colorverse Gravity Wave, and it's just gorgeous. And I have to say, I love Colorverse inks. They come up there in that area with KWZ where I love how they perform. And they're expensive, so I'm a little cheap sometimes, although you wouldn't believe it looking at all these ink bottles. But okay, so this is just, it's gorgeous. It's got shading, it's got red sheen. You can probably even see that red sheen right on the card here. And the flow is magnificent. I mean, it's just amazing. I love this ink. And let me see, here's the bottle. Came with a little bottle too. I shared the little bottle. It's real saturated, so as soon as it jostles around, it looks like it's fuller than it is, but it's probably right about there, which is okay. You know, I love it. Don't want to run out. Let's see if there's anything else I was going to say about that. Oh, this was another one of those 30 inks, 30 days purchases where I allowed myself to order a bottle, and that's one that I got, the one I got that time anyway. Okay, next up is another purple. I'm a sucker for purple. And it is Monteverde Purple Rain. This is a gorgeous ink, and it's very, very bright. It's one of those happy, happy, happy colors. I love it for the shading and the fact that it's just so beautiful, and it's super, you know, affordable. Monteverde inks are made in the USA, and they're very affordable. But there's just, I mean, it's got the flow factor, the, what do they call it? ITF technology. I just love this ink. It's amazing. So, am I going too fast or too slow? Okay, I think we're right on track, because there are some things I kind of wanted to say at the end. We have one more, and it's another purple. Surprise, surprise. Okay, and it is a shimmer ink. It's the only shimmer ink here, if I'm not mistaken. And it's J. Arbonne Amethyst de Laurel from the 1798 collection. So it has silver shimmer, and I am crazy about this ink. It's got a little bit of water resistance, quite a bit actually, if I remember, and I reviewed that one. So every one that I did review, I will link below in the description box for the video so you can find it. And it's got a gorgeous bottle right here. And this ink is pricey too, but to me, this ink is worth every penny. There's no question about it. I like this for everything, for letter writing, for note taking, and for journaling. It's a joy in the pen. Even though it's got the shimmer, I never have had a minute of trouble with it clogging or anything. It just flows really, really well. It's got the silver shimmer and a beautiful purple. And this was hard too, because I just recently was gifted a bottle of Diatramenis Alexander Hamilton, and I love that too. you know, and I had to start realizing that this is sort of a thing that will probably flex and change. It's not in cement, of course. It's for fun, really, and it's for, you know, bringing more mindfulness to this whole thing. Excuse me. But it's, you know, because I can get real literal and caught up with, oh, well, is this really my favorite one, or is it the other dark purple, you know? And I thought about Lamy Dark Lilac because two of my pen friends, one sent a sample and another friend, even knowing that I had that sample, sent another one. And I love that ink, but I know that I can't get it. And I think availability, in terms of buying a bottle, I mean, I've been blessed to have pen friends share with me. So I was thinking about the fact that I do like inks to be available in order for me to consider them top favorites like that. And I'm kind of that way with pens too. I get really bummed out if pens can't be obtained, you know, if they're only so limited and everything, that you have to have the money right then, because that just isn't how I operate. You know, I need to have the cash to pay for it, and I need to not have those kind of temptations. So those are the 12 inks, and this was super fun, and I expect the next part will be filling up these little bottles, and then I'll kind of be all set to work with my glass nib pen, the one that came with that giveaway, and my other Moon Man one. So I have 2 glass nib pens. But I wanted to tell you something else. I have 2 other things to show you. For a long time, and I think this was about a year ago, but I'm not exactly sure when it was, I had decided on my top 5 favorite inks, and it was at least a year ago. 1, 2, and 3 of them, 3 out of the 5 are still in my favorites. I'm going to hold it up and it'll cover my face, but these were my favorites. Not so long ago, really. I look like I'm trying to be like Wilson on on Tim the Tool Man. Okay, never mind. The first one was Diamine Aqua Lagoon, and that's still a favorite. And then Diamine Earl Grey. I still love Diamine Earl Grey, but it's a little bit darker than Graf von Faber-Castell Stone Grey, so that got preempted. And then this one here, Noodler's Black Swan and Australian Roses, that was my like top super favorite from day one for a long time. And it could be that it's like a song. You know how if you listen to a song several times every day for a long time, you overdo it. And I was surprised whenever I realized I think I might have overdone it with that ink. But you know what I think? I think it'll be like any day now, I'll pick it up and ink up a pen with it, and it'll be like starting over, because I kind of haven't used it for a little while. It's been on a break. And then, of course, the last 2, the J. Arbonne Amethyst de Laurel, you just saw that one, and also Robert Oster Lake of Fire are still on my top list. So I thought that was really fun to find that. And yeah, so in the case of the gray ink, it was sort of replaced by another one, and then I think I'm just putting Black Swan and Australian Roses on sort of a little bit of a holiday. In fact, I remember, I think it was maybe a year or a little more than a year ago that I wrote with it for a whole month and maybe even another month, and I used it on this G. Lalo paper, and I wrote with it. So that it was my own fault, I think. I just think I kind of overdid it or something. So, but this is not, you know, I'm not trying to be hard on myself or anything. Okay, so now I have 5 of what I would call honorable mentions that I just didn't put away. I kept the tiles out to show you because they were also very close, and one of them was the Noodler's Black Swan and Australian Roses, because that was an automatic, for so long, an automatic favorite. So I just talked about that one, so that's easy. And then in terms of green, it was interesting because I really love KWZ Green number 5. I had a really generous sample from a pen friend who really kind of got me started in the hobby, or, you know, got me set up real early on. And I really love that green, but I had to be super honest with myself as far as top 12. It just didn't quite make it for that, you know, for top 12. What am I trying to say? Aha! Now we just talked about this too, Diatramenis Alexander Hamilton. And I haven't had my bottle of that in my house for all that long. So, you know, I'm thinking to myself, because the Amethyst de Laurel is in that same kind of color category, except that Alexander Hamilton has kind of a gold sheen and it doesn't have a shimmer, but it's that dark purple. So, you know, I can love both of them, right? But so that gets an honorable mention for sure. And then so many of you have heard me rave about KWZ Hawaii Blue. I just love this one. I love it. But when it came down to all-time favorite, you know, top 12 favorite, the Diamine Aqua Lagoon won over this one. And, you know, and so did Lake of Fire, which surprised me too. So you could tell this was close. I didn't really want to put this tile away, but I did, you know, sort of. Okay, and then finally, for the number 5 honorable mention is Noodler's King Philip Requiem. The infamous 16-ounce bottle that I bought last year to celebrate 3 years on YouTube. It's quite hardy, to say the least. It's very water resistant and it stains things, but I love that color. When I thought about putting it in one of these little bottles, I didn't want to do it. No, I said to myself, no, I don't want to do that. But I do love this, and I do have my reserve, you know, what I saved from the big bottle for me to write with. And I do love it. It's kind of a magenta, purple, fuchsia mixture, you know, like, you know, what is it? And I'm still writing with this, really enjoying it. For January 2021, I've got it in the Noodler's Ahab King Philip purple pen. So, okay, wow, that was a lot to say really fast. So I have to say this brightened my day yesterday, which was a real humdinger of a day. In fact, this whole week, even if you didn't even consider what has happened on a national level, just the paperwork and complications and weird things that I've had to deal with, and also concern for a friend who is sick, and you know, things like that. It's just been a week, and it's Thursday. It's like, it's almost over. Today's almost over, and then there's one more day, I guess, in the work week. But coming back to my inks, getting here at the pen desk in any capacity, it always helps so much. So I really enjoyed this, and this has been requested even before I mentioned what I wanted to do with the little bottles. Many people have asked for me to do either a top 5 or a top 10 or something with my inks. So this is this is a snapshot of where I'm at right now as far as favorites. And I would imagine that it'll kind of shift and change and expand, you know. 12 didn't seem like enough to have to choose just 12. Excuse me. But it was a lot of fun, and it brings back a lot of memories, because so many of these were introduced to me by pen friends, initially as samples, which is so much fun. And then, now I couldn't remember on Monteverde Purple Rain. I couldn't remember. I think I ordered a sample all on my own, but I hope I'm not leaving out anything. Almost always on my cola ring, which is up there, my full bottle cola ring is right there on my ink shelf. Almost always I'll have initials up in the corner of where I got the initial sample or bottle, or, you know, I'm getting better at that anyway. So, okay, this is almost 30 minutes, but hopefully it's given you a little bit of a break from, I was going to say reality, but from whatever you need a break from. And I'd love to hear in the comments anything you have to say about your favorite inks. Certainly, I have tested and tried hundreds of inks, so to try to tell you 12 that are my favorite, it wasn't something that was quick. It took quite a bit of time, and I've got this little worksheet I've been looking at. You probably could see I was looking at something. I got this little worksheet where I made, you know, 12 little squares and a bunch of notes, and I pulled out just about every tile I had and started looking at them, and that was fun. So if you're looking for something to do, that probably would be fun for you too. Whether you have them in your cola ring or little swatches, or however it is that you catalog your inks, whether they're samples or bottles. It's fun to do that. So I'll let you go, but I hope to hear from you in the comments, and hope you're having the best day possible. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.